Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry I had to break the classes up for the RN-BSN program, but my storage was running very low, and although I did record it, I wasn't able to export it for some reason. I'm still, y'all, using my phone for everything. Haven't gotten to the point where I'm going to do a camera, but anyway, this is the breakdown of classes 6 through 10. If you hear some little like chimes in the background, that's my son. He's over there on the laptop playing the game, but I wanted to go ahead and give this to you guys. So this is the breakdown of classes 6 through 10 for the RN-BSN program, Claflin University. It's a totally online program for RNs who are looking to achieve their BSN. I did a prior video breaking down classes 1 through 5. I apologize because I do not have my syllabi for some of the classes. I have a friend who's in the program now who did send me a few copies of the syllabi. So I kind of, what I noticed is that some of the classes that she's taking now, they're not in the same order of the ones I took mine in. And so I'm going to give you a rundown of the classes, but I cannot completely say which class you will get the first 8 weeks or the mid 8 weeks or whatever. It may not be in the same order that I took mine in. I do know that Nursing 450 is the capstone class, so that one will be given in the last 8 weeks, in your last set of 8-week classes, but all the rest of them are in different order. I'm just gonna give you a breakdown of what they are. So yeah, let's go to the class number 6 in the program, Nursing 350, Issues in Professional Practice. In the syllabi that she sent me, there was a group PowerPoint, 8 discussion boards, and 3 papers. In this class, I know we had to do with the instructor that I took it under, and like I said, different instructors require different things, but I do remember doing 8 discussion boards in this class. We also had to do, one of the papers was healing, complementary or alternative healing strategies. We had to do a paper on that. I remember because I did my paper on alternative healing. I didn't choose complementary, but alternative healing. Ethical and cultural issues in this class. In a group PowerPoint, and like I said, my group projects, on every group project that I took part in, we made at least a 95 or better. So that is Nursing 350. Okay, next class, Nursing 410. Now this class is Nursing and Multicultural Society. I thoroughly enjoyed this class because we got to learn about how the healthcare practices and strategies of different cultures. I found I was most interested in the Amish and their healthcare practices. After doing research, I realized that really there aren't many healthcare practices as far as in that community. I was also, I think it was the Mormons, their healthcare practices, and to find out that Mormons are fairly healthy group of people. But they have a lot of healthcare practices that they abstain from a lot of things, and I attribute that, and they get regular exercise, and I attribute that to why they are so healthy in that community. Yeah, we did have to write it. I remember writing a paper for this. I believe we had to write 2 papers in this, and this class particular, I specifically remember in this class, I was holding at like a 95 average, and I think this was in like classes 5, 6 during the summer, and I had like reached my boiling point where I couldn't do anymore, and there was a paper that was due, and it was no, is it this class? I think it was this class. There was a paper that was due, and it was worth 20% our grade, and actually I was holding 97 in the class, and I couldn't do the paper, y'all. I was through. I couldn't do anymore, and I knew it was gonna drop my grade by 20 points, but I just took the hit, and I made a 77 in this class. And hold on, actually I'm not sure. One of these classes I took the hit, didn't write the paper, and I made a 77. And I was fine with that. I couldn't do anymore. I was done. Yeah, so that's Nursing 410, Nursing and Multicultural Society. Like I said, it was very interesting. That's class 6 and 7. class 8. Now these last 3 classes, these are the hardest classes. These were the three hardest classes to me. And so I saved them for last because I actually told the instructor these classes should not be given together at all. Nursing 440 leadership. I was warned that this was a very difficult class by a former student. She actually told me that she had to drop out the class and re-enroll because it was just so difficult. And when I got into the class, it was difficult, y'all, but it was difficult because I didn't reach out to the instructor when I should have. This is another class where I was kind of coasting along, doing the discussion boards, week by week, just doing what they were asking without really understanding what they were wanting. I would look at the exemplars. In every class, they post exemplars of how they want you to construct things or how they want what they're looking for, and I would go off what they posted. The exemplars, their exemplars came from former students who they felt did exemplary in certain projects or things that were due. And so by week 3 though, I realized I was totally lost. I didn't know what was going on. And so I was riding along. I was getting like a 90%, but as the weeks go on, more and more things were coming closer to being due. And so I reached out to the instructor, and she kind of, I think I emailed, and she kind of we're emailing back and forth, and she kind of guided me along of, okay, this is what I'm looking for. This is what's due, because I noticed she kept like every other day putting up, students, y'all are not following along what we're expecting or what I want to do. This is what we want to do. Like, it wasn't just me, it was a lot of students. We were just not grasping what they wanted to do because it was totally different than what we had to do in the prior classes. And so it wasn't just discussion boards. It was actually 3 things due every week in this class, and we did have 8 discussion boards, but we also had an evaluation, it wasn't an evaluation. It was called like a review paper to review every week the steps we are making in the project, the overall project we had to do. And these were individual projects that we had to implement on our job and work the project all the way through. And so every week we were having to upload things saying our progress. And it was like a full page on that. And then we also had to upload a clinical log, which was we were like given our time that we spent doing the project or whatever. And so it was a lot of things due, and it all it was all towards a cumulative paper or PowerPoint. I can't remember, it was a PowerPoint paper that we had to turn in, which was worth, I think, like 25% of our grade. So like I said, when I reached out to the instructor and I found out exactly what she wanted, it was smooth sailing from there on for me. And in this class, Nursing 440, which is the nursing leadership, I made a 96 overall in that class. So yeah, but it was kind of difficult. The instructors in these programs are very, 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 very responsive. Like, you don't have those problems like I hear in a lot of programs. People have a hard time getting in touch with counselors, instructors, and you don't have the problem here. They will do. I've been on like an hour-long telephone conference with an instructor in one of these classes because I was like not knowing what I was supposed to be doing or what they were expecting. I've been emailing back and forth throughout the day, instructors trying to get a grasp on what they're wanting. Like, they are very, very responsive, and I can say that and they are very considerate of our time. Sometimes they had to extend due dates on things, give us a little extra time because there's a lot of, everybody in this program is an RN. So we're all out working. We're taking care of families, they understand that. Now you have to reach out to them. Reach out to them. Don't just let it fly by the wayside and think if you're making a 50 and you're week 8 that you want to be able to catch everything up and get a good grade. No, reach out to them. Like I said, I did all my reaching out at least by week 3 or week 4, and that really helped me get good grades in this program. Okay, these last 2 classes are basically community nursing. You're as if you're a community health nurse. And so Nursing 360 is community health. In this class, there was a lot of work that was due. There was an overall paper, or it was called an e-portfolio that you had to do. You could make a web page, you could do a PowerPoint, you could do a paper, whatever you choose to do, but it was the e-portfolio. Every week you had to work towards it, and you had to pick your community. And every week there were questions she was going to ask you about your community to kind of gauge and you as a community nurse, you got to know your community as a whole, know all the resources, things like that. And you pick, you, like I said, find out everything about the community, and you pick something that you want to work towards improving in your community. And a lot of this is, we're working off of the Healthy People 2020 goals, even though they've already enacted Healthy People 2030 goals. And we're just trying to reach those goals. And you're like, it's a very intense e-portfolio, but she did it so it could be kind of fun. But I mean, really, it's still work. We also had to do a clinical portion, which our clinical portion was online. It was an online virtual world, and we had to get to know everything in that world. And it was a lot of time we had to spend in that world, asking the residents questions and things, getting to know different things about the community. We had to do a clinical log every week, and we had to upload, and we had to count our hours, because overall we had to have 54 hours. Our time was being tracked in the virtual world. Not all 54 hours had to be done in that virtual world, but it had to be a cumulative of 54 hours at the end of the 8 weeks for us to pass the course. And in the virtual world, she can track the time that we're in there. She can track the residents that you actually spoke to. And every week she's asking you questions about this virtual world. So yeah, that was Nursing 360. I got a 93.99 in that class. But it was kind of a difficult class, and I took that along with Nursing 450. That is the capstone class. It was all it is nursing and communities. And this year, just like a community health nurse as well. But on this one, they wanted you to pick a community. It didn't necessarily have to be the community you live in, but you pick a community. You break down everything about that community. You get your information off of cdc.gov. You get your information off of their state DHEC page. I use some FBI stats. I just got a bunch of stuff off of. I did mine originally. I was going to do mine off of the city in South Carolina that I grew up in. But one of the exemplars that she posted in this class, a student had did that city, and I didn't want to look like I was just copying. So I picked a whole nother city that I lived in briefly, Raleigh, North Carolina. I decided to do it on that city. And it was basically same thing, trying to see if we reached the Healthy 2020 goals, but you had to know everything about the city. She wanted to know the populace, the demographics, the health resources, the federal resources, local resources, state resources. Like, she wanted to know everything. You had to learn everything about that community. I even broke down the level of people who had bachelor's degrees, who had high school diplomas, married couples, divorced couples, like a little bit of everything I learned about Raleigh, North Carolina. And one thing I did find is, and healthcare, a lot about the healthcare. One thing I struggled in with this class is Raleigh was like meeting all of the Healthy 2020 goals, and I thought she wanted us to show where they were lacking, and I couldn't really find anything lacking. But when it all broke down, she was like, I'm glad you chose this area because it's a metropolitan area. It's not what we're used to, living here in South Carolina. So anyway, this class, you had to do discussion boards. It was 8 discussion boards what I noticed was, I noticed late into the class that her discussion questions were basically giving us a cumulative of what she wanted in our paper. Your paper has to be 12 to 15 pages of pure content. That's not counting title pages, not counting reference page. Had to be 12 to 15 pages of pure content. And the discussion boards every week really helped me towards my paper. I actually took a lot of my discussion board answers and put it in my paper because it covered some of the things. They're going to give you a rubric of what they want in the paper, and my discussion boards hit on a lot of things in the rubric. I think on that paper, I think I actually made like a 93. And we also had to do a PowerPoint, which correlated with our paper, and it was presenting our city to our peers and to the instructor. We did a PowerPoint presentation over Zoom. And on my PowerPoint, I believe I know it was a 90 something. One thing about me, y'all, I suck at APA format. I suck at everything APA. Whenever we have a paper or anything that's due and we have to give, APA is worth like 5 points. I just give those 5 points up because for some reason, I just cannot get APA format. And so I know I didn't make 100 on this. I think I made like a 93 or 94. The only thing she found wrong with mine is she wanted pictures in my PowerPoint so she could actually get a visual and see the different things I was talking about in Raleigh. And I didn't include pictures, y'all. In this class, I made a 94%. So yeah, guys, that is classes 6 through 10 of the Claflin RN-BSN program. Overall, level of stress, I will rate this program, I would say it's about a level 6 to 7, y'all. The first 4 classes, I was like, okay, they're done. And then we hit me with class 5 and 6, and it just kind of upped the level of stress. Classes 7 and 8, it just stayed from classes 6, 7, 8, classes 7, 8, 9, 10. My level of stress was like at a straight 6 or 7. Because they were kind of difficult class. Well, informatics wasn't difficult, but the rest of the classes, I'm gonna say class 8, 9, and 10. My 8, 9, and 10 may be different from your 8, 9, and 10, but my 8, 9, and 10, which was leadership and the 2 community classes, they were difficult. So yeah, that is my breakdown on the classes. I'm still waiting for my degree to come in the mail. Going forth, I don't know. I know 2022, I am just working. I'm not doing any schooling in 2022. I don't want to learn a thing in 2022. I'm just like, well, I lie, y'all. I stay trying to learn something. I'm always trying to learn something. I don't want to research a thing. Put it like that. I want to just type it in and read. I don't want to have to dig and research for anything. Am I going to go any further, y'all? I have no plans on going further, but you never know. You never know. I always plan to get my BSN. That was always the plan. As far as going any further, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It wasn't in my plans. Right now, what I'm focusing on, y'all know I'm back in acute care. I actually got submitted for a few contracts, and I did get approved. I got accepted for one of my contracts, y'all. For one of the acute care contracts. Don't know if I'm going to take it though. The money is not what I want it to be. Kind of think I should take it because I need to go ahead and get my feet wet, but then I don't want to take it because I'm like, I can kind of make that money right around the area I live in. Yeah, but anyway, I am Muriel. This is Ask So by Muriel, and I will get back with you guys before. I don't want to lie to y'all. I want to do a New Year's, let y'all know if I hit any of my New Year's goals that I made for 2021. I want to do that before the new year, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm Muriel. This is Ask So by Muriel, and y'all take care. Happy holidays. Bye.